So today we're going to be playing Daedalus, and Daedalus is one of my favorite heroes, but not generally a hero that I'll often pick at the beginning of the match. He's really good to swap into because you get the extra treasure, but he's still okay to start with, and actually I think he plays a little bit similar to the Mask from Storybook Brawl, if you remember that, where you get to swap your hero several times, and you'll see why in a second. But we get a sort of greedy start with the double goose, but it looks like it's kind of paying off right now. We're still managing to even win this match against the amateur. And we go ahead and pick up another pair because we kind of want to get a hold of that treasure as soon as we can. And you know, at this point we're just going to go for the strongest unit in the cat, just because we're a little bit weak right now. We've got a decent amount of HP, but like you just saw there, we don't have that much attack, so we're kind of needing to find some characters that will help us get over that weakness. And there we go. That's why I think he's a lot like the Mask, because it's just it's so common that you find that level 2 treasure that lets you swap into a different hero. And we go ahead and this is not a character I typically pick here. But since we have the +3/3 farming stats at the beginning, I think he's a decent pickup. And here I actually think maybe in hindsight the Chameleons might have been a good pick there as well, because both of them would have been +3/+3, which would have given them a pretty good chance of changing into a level 4 character. Maybe just a hindsight thing, but we do pick up a Puck anyway, and Puck is a very, very strong level 3 character. And we grab another one here, and you know, the sooner we can get these geese off of our board the better, because 2-1 is not cutting it. And honestly, we almost ought to get rid of the hunter as well, and I think I make a pretty big mistake. I play off the farmer stats again, thinking, you know, it'll be a strong unit for right now, but it's just gonna be, you know, worthless as soon as the farming stats are gone. But we luck out and get Fortuna on level 4, and we get a Van Helsing as well, which is, you know, not exactly one of the best characters that you can get here. His Dying Breath is pretty worthless at the moment, doing 40% of 3, but I mean, he's still, you know, a 21-13, or I guess that's with our farming stats, but he's still a pretty strong ranged unit, and he gives us a little bit of direction here. So it looks like we kind of have an early end to a hunter's comp, which is nice. We get really, really wrecked by a fireball, but fortunately our hero attack is just barely enough to help us tie this again, and hopefully we can not get fireballed again, because that was pretty rough. Still, you know, doing our best to make these I forget exactly what the character's name is. I almost never buy him because he's just generally not that great. But yeah, trying to make it work, but we go ahead and get rid of our archer to get an extra not HP, get an extra XP. And our hunters are actually just barely able to get it done. We're gonna go ahead and triple this and get a Seer Sphere. Silent Bell just doesn't work with our comp, and I suppose it could potentially, but yeah, forget what I was going to say, because we just got a Hansel and a double Narcissus on level 5, which is absolutely fantastic. We go ahead and pick up did I say Hansel? I meant Gretel. But we go ahead and pick up the Gretel first, just because, you know, we want a character that's actually going to do something in this fight, and then we can get the 5-cost treasure next turn. So we're starting to scale up finally. And we even pull out a win, just barely. So we grab Narcissus, and we're going to get a 5-cost, and not a great selection. Cat Altar is no good. Fate Scissors okay. Poison Tree is probably the best for us here, but none of them are something that we particularly really want. But yeah, right now we just really want to get either a Gretel. A Gretel would be nice, and a Watson would be absolutely fantastic. Watson's what we need more than anything else. And we grab a Watson right there, which means we're finally gonna get to do something. So we're gonna get through this fight, and once we grab the Watson, then we can start scaling for real. We get a sleigh with our Gretel, and the rest of the fight goes well enough that we manage to get another tie, which is just fine for us because now we've got our Watson and we're gonna start scaling for real now. We grab another apprentice detective. It's not, you know, one of the units that we're looking for. We're mostly just looking for Watson and Gretel. But you know, it's hard to say no to a potential pirate map. And we're actually gonna sell down and grab this Sea Witch, which is perhaps not the ideal choice here, but I didn't see too much of a chance of us finding another Watson or Gretel here, and it does pair pretty well with the Gretel if we can get it scaling up, which we do get a sleigh, so you know it's already kind of paying off, but we still end up losing. And we actually, this is crazy, we get another Van Helsing for our Fortuna treasure, and then we find another one right after that, so we get a level 6 cost treasure right on level 6, which is insane really. And then there's our Sherlock, and now we've got, you know, a full hunter board, you know, going now. So yeah, we're just gonna go and see if we can scale up with our Watson as much as possible, and our Gretel is gonna be helping. Maybe some cats would be decent to put on top of Watson. But yeah, right now we should be looking pretty strong, and yeah, it's looking like we're quite a bit stronger than this toy dino, although we end up tying. I think it was mostly due to the attack order. It felt like we were quite a bit stronger. And here's another Gretel, but I think what I'm actually gonna do here is I'm gonna sell down and actually get the Slay Orb instead. I'm not sure if that's the optimal play here. It may be better to just grab the Gretel. That being said, the Slay Orb did get buffed recently. I don't know if it was this patch or the last patch, but it used to only give 1 additional Slay, but now it gives 2. And with that combined with our Sea Witch, it should be, you know, a lot of additional hero attack each turn. Unfortunately, we don't slay with it, which sucks, but at least we get the slay on the second one, so it's sort of salvaged, and now we get to upgrade our Gretel. And we get another garbage selection. I think Fate Scissors is really our only choice. Elemental Swords is not great, and Symbol of Unity is really just a ghost of what it used to be. So we're gonna go ahead and pick up the Fate Scissors and keep rolling down to see if we can find another Sherlock, and we do. So now our board is looking really good. I think we're actually gonna hold here just so that we can grab the pirate. We've also got a Sea Witch pair right there, and we've even got a wolf spell in there, which I think is a decent play to use for our Van Helsing, just so that, you know, not only can we get slightly more optimal boosts from our Watson, but we can also give it a chance to not get scammed. But didn't really matter that one because our Watson got pigamorphed right at the beginning of the fight. So we're gonna keep rolling down and see what we can find. We roll down pretty fast, and now we've got a pair of Sea Witches. We've got a Watson, and the stuff in front of it is a lot better. The big problem that we have now is that Watson is pretty scammable, and it's kind of we're putting a lot of, I mean, look at it, we've got half of our board dedicated to getting more stacks with Watson, which it works out this time, but as you see later on, it gets really common for people to have, you know, fire mages, you know, spells that'll, like a fireball or something that'll hit Watson, really anything that can do enough damage to kill it, and, you know, half of your board is just, it just falls apart. But we upgrade our Sea Witch, and we get our first decent 5-cost treasure, a Philosopher's Stone, which means that our Watson is going to be upgraded, and we also get Sinbad, which is going to double all of those 5-cost treasures that we have, which is great. And now we just want to get some of these pairs taken care of. The Sherlock, the Apprentice, for a potential treasure map, or even the Geese, which would, you know, give us upwards of 20 gold at this point. So we're going against the Amateur, and he takes out both of our backline units that are really weak, and that sucks. It sucks for our scaling, but we punish him for his sins by knocking him out with our massive Gretel, and now we're back to rolling down. Kind of think about that that Ascendance for a second, but I think I'd rather just get, you know, a 6-cost treasure or something from these guys. So we're gonna keep rolling. Get a group of spells, and there we go. We get our first one, and we do get Pirate Map, which is great. And it's even gonna be buffed by Sinbad now. Our other 2 5s aren't. But that one's going to be boosted by Sinbad. And here, you know, maybe I should have just sold the Goose for, you know, the other Gretel. But I decided to greed, and it doesn't matter. We still win this, and we pick up the Gretel on the next fight. And we'll get another pirate, an extra, a triple for that would be great, because that'll just mean that we're going to be summoning more and more units. And we're looking really strong at this point. Our Watson is looking less and less interesting as we go along, though. There's so many people right now that have fire mages and ways to take it out that it just doesn't really feel like it's super impactful at the moment. I briefly consider swapping out the second Gretel, but I think I just like the way that it's there. The first one in the back line just gives it a really good chance of getting to slay, which is good. We actually get both of them to slay, which is fantastic, and then we get another slay with the Gretel, so all sorts of scaling that time. And we finally get our triple, which is gonna get us a level 7 treasure, and we grab a Holy Grail, which is great. So now we're just looking for, you know, oh, there's our Geese. We finally got our Geese, and it looks like it's gonna be 25 treasure next turn, so I guess that paid off. So we can sell that whenever we want to. And here I make a big mistake. I grab that and waste one of my Holy Grail slots on the Hansel, which I probably shouldn't have done. You know, it's not the end of the world, because it's still gonna be a really strong unit at this point even, but I mean, you hate to see it. And we don't even get to use our second Gretel in that fight. But this one's a lot better. Garlic Cabinet is awesome. Hero Helix is interesting, especially on Sinbad, but we don't have too many other treasures right now that, you know, are that interesting. And Garlic Cabinet is very, very good when you're going hunters. So we go ahead and grab that, and we pick up another Sherlock, and we're finally gonna take the Watson off the board. I think it's time. You know, as much as I would love to, and actually I guess I'm gonna greed it for one turn, but I would imagine I get punished here by we don't even get to the Fire Mage attack because he's just immediately taken out. So yeah, at this point we're not getting much out of the Watson, so I think it's time to take it out. Our Hansels are actually putting in work, so we'll pick up another one of those and take out our Watson. And we do sell our Geese there, so now we've got a ton of gold, and we're gonna use that gold to get a Blackbeard, which is really, really good in hunters once you've picked up quite a few Hansels and Gretels, because all of those stats are going to be boosted. And now we're going to get, we get the Hall's gold, or maybe Holly's gold, I'm not sure which one it is. And now we've got the stats to put up a fight against the Fire Mages. So now we've got a full back line of Gretels that are going to start slaying, and things are starting to look much more in our favor. Now that we've gotten rid of our Watson, I think that Watson was kind of holding us back a little bit at this point. It's kind of important to recognize where your win condition is, and since, you know, our Watson was not putting in that much work, but our Gretel was, we're able to just kind of transition straight over into using sleighs. And we actually pick up another Blackbeard here, and we're going to use our Philosopher's Stone in the backline to upgrade both of those right before we get another 6-cost treasure there with the third Blackbeard in the shop. So yeah, we get a sleigh there. We're probably going to pick up another sleigh here, and our Blackbeards are going to be more than big enough to take care of the toy dragon. So we get another 6-cost. This is a tough choice. Boost would have been fine, but we don't have Watson anymore, so that's not applicable. And Golden King is probably not a thing because most of our board is upgraded already. So we're gonna get Doppelganger Diamond and try to do some shenanigans with it. There's a whole bunch of stuff we can do. I think this is one of them. I'm not sure if it's the best one, but you know, we're putting another pirate in the back line so that we can summon in more units. Maybe if I had a little more time, I could have thought up a better way to position there, but we actually end up only getting 2 summons anyway, so not sure that was worth it. But we're still scaling. We're still getting sleighs from our Gretels and still picking up wins, and we're not too low on HP, so we can kind of afford to do that. So now we're just gonna roll down and see what else we can find. It doesn't look like we're gonna run into much of anything, and I definitely don't want a hero swap out of Sinbad right now, just because of how much value it's giving me right now. We're gonna do something else, and we're gonna double our Blackbeard, which I think is gonna work out quite a bit better than last one, just because we have more places to summon. But we end up getting our backline destroyed regardless, but we still pull out the wins with just how big our Hansels are. We even get a few sleighs on our own teammates, which still count as sleighs for increasing our hero attacks, so definitely okay with that. Yeah, we're looking pretty strong right now. It's more about how we position than anything else. I put in the Van Helsing this game, or this round, because I want the opportunity to potentially tie if, you know, this guy suddenly has something on his board that I don't expect, but I think we're gonna be fine regardless. Van Helsing is more of a last resort than anything else, and it looks like we're plenty strong enough to take this guy out. He's even letting us slay a few times against our own units, and it doesn't look like there's all that much that he can do. He's trying to scam us a little bit, but with how many Hansels and Gretels we've got on our bench, I think we're totally fine. You know, we're just passing the Sherlocks. Went ahead and sold that, and now we're just filling up our bench with as many units as possible to make our Blackbeard as big as possible. And we're just ignoring our Doppelganger Diamond, which, you know, I think that it's not necessarily optimal, but when our board is as strong as it is right now, and we're kind of in the clear as far as being able to win, I think it's fine to just ignore that treasure. But anyway, a pretty normal Hunter's game, but still a fun one. You know, any game where you get up to 180 hero attack is pretty solid. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.